all of us. And thank you for coming and co-creating this with us as we all listen, a deep listening, as deep as the womb. We have people from joining us from Peru and from Dublin, Ireland, Laudona. We have our elders from St. Croix and from Hawaii. We have New York City, hello New York, Albuquerque, New Mexico, born in Massachusetts. Elder Ia is now in St. Croix, but you were born in Pocahontas, Mississippi, am I right? Elder Ia? Alaska. Hi,
yes, I was born in
Welcome.
Pocahontas, Mississippi, in the native Blackfoot and other native people's land. Blackfoot land.
Maine, Greece, Cherokee County,
And I'm upside
Hawaii.
down.
Romania, Diana, and then Israel, and now you're in California. Canada, hello Canada, and we have Ontario, Seattle, Washington, Vermont. I saw someone from Australia, but I think maybe they're off now. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. Please keep joining and putting in the chat box where you're from originally and where you're from currently. We can feel motherland hugging Mother Earth, hugging our hearts, and inviting this deep listening that we have in the circles. And as in every circle, we will start by putting down the guidelines, just like we do when we invite people to have a meal with us. And even if everyone knows where the plates are, the host still sets the table and everyone can then approach it together. So one of the reasons we're doing this, the main reason maybe, is that it is said in the ancient teachings here in Alaska and in many other indigenous cultures that this is the time of the woman, this is the time of the feminine, that we have reversed the ways of life. We all come from the feminine. Whatever gender we are, we started with this little existence in this big feminine space. And we forgot, we got out of the womb and we forgot not just that, but the whole feminine aspect of life. And we need to recall that and to remember. And so we all as a humanity need for women to come together and choose sisterhood, connect to the womb inside and around us ceremonially, and then put that energy out collectively. And that would allow great healing to begin for the feminine inside and outside of us and for humanity. Or when women do that and take that energy outside themselves, outside ourselves, beyond ourselves, a sacred container may be formed for something truly new to be birthed, possibly, into the world. And for humanity to have a future, they say, this needs to happen. And so this is why we start with always with women of wisdom that are helping us all to hear what the circle is saying, because this is a form of a talking circle where the circle does the talking. We are doing the listening. That is the first guideline. You're coming into this circle mainly to help us all listen as deep as the womb. And we can also listen to the silence together, where it's not always words that come. We are asking to listen with the innocence of a child, hearing something for the very first time. Think of the first time you heard of a dragon or a platypus, or that once upon a time the grown-ups were kids. Remember that innocence and go back to that innocence before opinions, and let the story be offered alongside the story, truth by truth, like dishes in a potluck. You don't have to have everything or eat everything. And if something isn't for your plate or palate, you don't need to get it out of the table because it might be nourishing for someone else. So we ask to respect this potluck of offering. And as you're listening and as you're sharing, please respect yourself, other self, time and attention that are limited. We ask that you, all of us, be free. Let ourselves and other selves be free of judgment, of arguing, of planning replies. Come without agendas, without titles, without flags, and listen without trying to do some advising or marketing or arguing or anything really, but listening and letting the words nourish or go into the soil of your soul. And when the moment is ripe and the words are ripe in you, you can share them in the chat box. Our trusted team, Michelle and Joanna, who are here with us, will harvest the questions. And at the end, if we have time, we could hear some of them and have our women of wisdom speak to this. At the very end of the circle, we will also give some silent minutes for our audience, our community, to share your offerings in the chat box. And we will all keep listening silently and take in the words that nourish us and let go of those that don't. We are asking to share words when they are ripe without too much thought or sophisticated idioms, metaphors. Just really let things come through you. We're not about being heard, but we are about listening in the circle together, which is, in our experience, more powerful than anything any of us can do by ourselves, just alone. We ask to feel that connectedness and trust it. We ask to share truth, which means we only speak or write of what we know to be true in our own lived experience, not something that we're taught or borrowed or a maybe. And we ask that we don't speak on behalf of anyone else but ourselves, each one about yourself. Even if someone else was with you in the same situation, they might have felt something completely different than you, and we need to respect that there could be two very even contradiction truths in the same space. Just like in the womb, when I was pregnant, in my womb, I felt in my body nausea and hunger at the same time. And so we learn from the womb that contradictions that don't normally reside together can do that. If, and that is another guideline, we allow ourselves to expand, to make room for different truths, then maybe the opposite and maybe uncomfortable and maybe heavy or heartburn or, as we said, nausea. But if we allow it, then something truly new can begin to emerge, to exist in us, and possibly then emerge and exist outside of us. There is power also to the here and now. So if you want to discuss something that was shared in the circle, please don't do so unless you have permission from our elders. Are going to be, it's already live streamed, so it's videoed, but the words that are shared in the chat, they might be words that people are not interested in sharing beyond here, or if someone sends you a personal message. So please request permission if you want to share beyond this circle. Another request to help us maintain this is to not mention names. And then you are respecting the fact that what you are speaking is from your experience, from your eyes, and not on behalf of us all, or me, or you, or someone else. Just yourself. And now if anyone has some adjustments, suggestions, before we begin, we need to make sure we're all on the same table, if you will. So please write it in the chat box, and we will discuss and reach an agreement. Okay, thank you. And to begin and open our sacred space, Kumu Sebra, will you do us the honor and open with a blessing, please?
Am I on speaker? All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
To each and every one of you. It's a beautiful day outside here in Hawaii, but it's quite windy. So I'm going to stay inside and do this welcoming chant from inside today. But greetings to each and every one of you, wherever you are in the world. Ea e kalama kahikina, kahiki mai aloha kupuna e. Ukali ai kali abai kini, waiale ale molale. Heia e nā puale mokihana, kamavahi lualani ua vehi e. E vehi ke ia aloha e. Aloha kuone hana ue, aloha no, aloha e, mano kalani po, aloha e, aloha no, aloha e, mano kalani po, aloha e. Aloha no to each and every one of you all around the world, and to your families and your communities as well. We send you aloha.
Hello. Thank you so much, Kumu Sebra.
My pleasure.
And thank you. And as we said, for these circles to happen in a good way, we are calling in the sisterhood. Sisterhood, if you think about your siblings, starts from connecting with or sharing the same womb. And to connect to the womb, I'm inviting Diana to help us do that by taking us in with womb meditation. Diana, please.
Yes, we will start as always with igniting a light inside and out. Let me get to my candle. So inviting us to ignite a light in our heart, in our womb, in our physical space if you so desire. And to close our eyes. And to place one palm on our heart and one palm on our womb. If you have no womb in your physical body, then both hands on your heart. If you had a womb and it was surgically removed, then yes, you do have an energetic, etheric womb. Please touch where it was and feel its aura. And let's breathe together into our hearts, into our womb, into our circle, into the connection with our Earth Mother, with the sun and the stars and the universe, ever expanding. Life that begins in the womb begins with void. Before there is a seed and an egg in the womb, there is a void. And the universe began from the void. Let's connect to the void as the possibility, the potentiality of all and everything. The void can be filled with everything and nothing, no thing or everything. The void is pregnant with possibilities. And so is our womb. And so is our heart. In order for any possibility to be born, we need to embrace the void, the lack of light, the hidden, the unknown, the potentiality. Take a moment to be uncertain about everything. Do not know anything. Do not yearn for any outcome. Do not desire any result. How would that feel like in this moment to just be with no thing, nothing, with the void, where everything is possible but nothing yet exists, nothing yet manifests? What does that bring up in us? And inviting us as we move forward in our day to allow the presence of the void to accompany us for a while. Do not hurry up to fill it up. Do not hurry up to know or to be certain. To walk our path today and maybe beyond with the uncertainty of the womb that is void and open to all possibility. And with our eyes closed, allowing ourselves to begin to return to the sense of the physical body that engulfs and encloses our heart and our womb on this chair, in this physical space. The room encloses our body encloses our heart and womb, but in the center of it, can there be an opening for the unknown? Can we keep that alive? And keeping our eyes closed, returning more of our consciousness, of our senses, of our presence into this circle, into the room where we sit, remembering the voices that our womb is whispering us from within, our heart whispers from within, and yet being more present to the outside world. wiggling our toes and our fingers to come more and more into our physical existence in this moment. Remembering with our eyes closed our circle that is present before us on the screen. And gradually, when we are ready and here and present, allowing our eyes to gently open, keeping your hands where they are if you wish, or letting them come to your lap or to your sides as you want. And welcome back.
Thank you, Diana. And as you were speaking, I could really sense the knowing. Also, I see Samantha has put in the chat the know, not KNOW, but knowing. We can be a knowing. And suddenly I felt how all the yeses, all the things that we know and we are certain of, and we have no doubt about, how it's so narrow. And then if we just stick to what we know, then are we allowing anything new? And so kind of opened the whole, I could really feel the shape of a question mark, where it's like this wave, this dance, that is so elegant and feminine, I think. Like if we do, if we picture it. So thank you for taking us on this little journey, and thank you also for taking a bit of time between your words that allowed that.
Yes,
תודה רבה. mahalo.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Iya, may I ask you to share your wisdom, what comes through you?
Where are we? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you
Mm.
well.
One of the things that I'm reminded of the in that womb space, I could feel the opening and the contractions occurring as Diana was offering this meditation, and it felt like in that empty womb space, the opportunity to, it felt like impregnated itself. It felt impregnated. And what that feel like is, I think it's one of the things that for me, as I have grown into my body, sensations and revisit that womb space and how it allows us to feel into entrapment as well as contractions. Entrapments that come from the experiential places in life. It's almost that pain. It's almost a similar pain, but how we take it in really determines how it will affect us in the long run. And I think we do that as women in carrying our babies, conceptualization. If we could see in conceptualization the readiness to conceive, and I think we missed that too, because we absent of that readiness to conceive when the body invites the conception. And there's no blame there. We have lost that connection with learning how to invite life into our womb space. And I feel that this is what we're being reminded of. The mercy, atrocities that we're seeing is what has been allowed in the womb space. And now is our opportunity to empty out that womb space and reconfigure and refine what we have learned to be that took it apart. Now we can come back and say, oh, now refine it without judgment, without just allowing it to be. In some part, what I do is going through it, and today was very rich. Oh, forgive me. One of my sons called me today, was born with a disorder. And I realized where that disorder was. And when he was talking to me, I could feel spirit saying to me, inside of me, that I was not ready, even aware of how to allow this life to come in. But it still offered me a blessing, because whatever he perceived, whatever came in with him, became my opportunity to step in as a different voice for healing. And I just listened, and it just came through while I was talking to him. And just like I was able to say to him, I apologize. Please forgive me. I wasn't able at the time to perceive what's going on, but I know what I see now is a gift to you. And now I feel that I'm in a position to hold that up and help you go through this next transformation on your own. And we can do this together. To me, those are the reconciliations. If we're looking out at the world today, instead of judging it, asking ourselves, what in this womb space that it in how it informs us as co-creators in creation, in co-creation, evolving and unfolding in life. And it gives us this opportunity to dive in now and to recreate, even in this space, to revisit that and oh, thank you. Now I can embody that. And you embody that. You are the divine light energy unfolding that the earth needs today. That's what it feels like to me. And even as I'm speaking, feeling that resonating from the navel, in that navel, all the way back up to the heart. And maybe that's what this inspired for me. So thank you for inviting my words. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Wow, Iya, thank you so, so much. As you were talking about disorder, I suddenly saw disorder. And I thought, as you were speaking more, I realized maybe it's the invitation for a new order that maybe we don't yet see, but these disorders are kind of challenging what we think we know into something that would allow us to evolve. And I really feel when you said you asked for forgiveness, I just tears came to me as I realized, when I think I'm right and I could be maybe hurting someone, and then when I realize I wasn't, or maybe there is another truth there that I didn't give room for, then that expansion allows me to apologize, and something totally new is then created between me and the person I was conflicting with. And I don't know, somehow you took me through that whole situation, and then I was thinking of, very orderly, like Nazism was very ordered, right? Everything was anything that wasn't in order just wasn't allowed to exist. And suddenly do you know the part where they film from the sky the Amazon, and you see the fields that are very orderly
Right.
versus this nature that is so creative and so beautiful. And it's like, what is alive and what isn't alive? And just a new order is kind of what I feel you kind of invited in. So thank you for that so much. And Kun Sabra, are you ready to share? Or do you want to listen
I
more?
am. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes,
this is
we hear you.
sharing. Thank you all so very much. Well, one of the things that we have been thinking about and talking about is the moon. And it's important to all of us. So here in Hawaii, I'm very blessed because I have many friends who learn from the moon, who study the moon. And I begin all of my classes with a chant. The children have to chant to enter, and then I answer them. And then I ask them, who has, or I'm getting a message, do you need to something, what do I need to do? If you hear me, I guess I'm good. Our techie sent me a message, but I can't see it right now. And I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a card that represents the moon that we are looking at today. And I have cards for every day of the month. So I asked the students, is there anyone who has a birthday? And if they have a birthday, I ask them to read the card. Now, some of them are only in kindergarten, first grade, so they need a little help. But those who are a little older can read the card. And this is the 9th moon of this month. We call Anahulu Ho'onui, Ole Kukolu. But on the back of the card, there is information about, is it a time for resting, reflecting? Yes, this moon is a time to rest and reflect, to refine and to plan. And it rises afternoon here in Hawaii and often sets close to 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm not awake, so I don't see it. But it also tells us about mahi'ai. Mahi'ai is farming. Is it a good time to plant? And for this moon, it is not so productive for planting, but it's a good time to maintain our farms, our gardens. For fishermen, it's not such a good time for fishing, poor fishing. But sometimes the men go torch fishing. They use torches along the coast. And the lights, the torches attract the fish. And then they can catch the fish for their families. So the mahina, the moon, is more light than dark. And it is in the position. I always ask my students, did you see the moon last night? And then I ask them to show me the shape. Was it full? Was it half? Was it quarter? How was it? Was it clear? And on the clear nights, it's just exceptional. It's just so beautiful. Because occasionally, maybe once every couple of months, I take them to the campus at night when there's no lights. We go way back on the basketball field, not basketball, softball field, and soccer fields in the back of the campus. And we sit there and we look at the stars, we watch them, and I teach them the names of the stars in Hawaiian, what they mean, what they signify, what they indicate. And it's just a wonderful way for all of us to learn together. I also have friends who make these calendars, and the calendars are moon calendars for every month, for every moon, for every day. So these are wonderful learning resources for me and my students. There's no end to how much you can learn about our moon, our stars, our earth. Thank you. Mahalo. If anybody wants to know where these things can be found, I can put the link in our chat box.
Please do. Yes.
Okay.
And as you were saying, there's always something to learn about the moon, the stars, the universe. I was thinking ourselves also. as
Oh,
we
absolutely.
are from the stars. And Kumu Sabra, may I ask you to sing the chant that you sing with your students, where they sing and you answer? Can you share with us?
Okay, all right. The chant that they have to do is a traditional chant that asks permission to enter. It's usually taught in a halal or a hula school, but now we are using it in our regular schools, and it sounds like this. Kunihi kamauna ikala iye, o wai ale ale la I wai lua, Hukia elai kalani, ka papa auai o ka waikini. Alai ia ela e no no, nalo ka ipuhaa, ka laula mauka o ka pae. Mai pa I ka leo, he ole ka hea mai ye. So from kindergarten through 12th grade, that is the chant that they do to enter. And then the kumu or the teacher responds with this. E hea I ke kanaka I komo māloko, e hanai aia hewa I kawa, e iano ka ukulau ka leo, a he leo vale no ai. Basically, it's telling the children to come in. Learn all you can until you're full. So it's kind of an analogy to food, but the food that they are receiving is knowledge.
Mahalo. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
as you're saying this, I'm realizing we can only receive knowledge when we're open to it, when we come with the not knowing. If I come knowing, then I'm not so interested in what you have to say because I'm interested in what I want to say and what I want to show that I know. But in order to learn, we gotta open. We gotta acknowledge the not knowing. And I have to tell you, I envy your students when you were talking about taking them to the field. I could see the vastness of a field in a small child, and then the sky above them are even bigger. And at night, I remember walking when I was in kindergarten. They took us once to around the kibbutz, and it was night, and I was holding my father's hand, and I was like, "Aren't you afraid of the dark, Dad?" And he said, no, the night is a friend. Look how beautiful everything is and how different. And there's a sacredness that you don't even need to explain about the darkness because we walk, more cautiously and more respectfully than we do during daytime. You can see everything and you just, you're often about where you want to get to, where the night is forcing us to be present and to watch where we step and everything around us. There is this, I could sense all of this as you were talking, and I'm so grateful that you're bringing that to so many young souls that are getting to experience that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Mahalo.
My pleasure.
And Celine, may I ask you to share with us next?
Thank you so much. It's a day of great things, having this circle of women united. Something powerful is getting transformed in the universe with this energy of these elders reunited for the being of God, for the good of the universe, for stopping the war, something, stopping the pain, and to stopping some black energies trying to cover the hurt. So I feel like so blessing having this hour in the month where we can express our power to cure this sick planet and do our little contribution and put our light into this dark times we are living. I feel really blessing for this. And I wanted to start by repeating a bless we do for centuries. This blessing has at least 7,000 years before Christ, and it comes to me in the same way. And I choose this blessing. Is the way how the shamans start blessing the star and the universe in my culture, in my Quechua culture. It says, I will translate, but I need to preserve the original language, which is my mother tongue, is Quechua. Añay punchay, cacho, ay pimarizum, ñocas auspicita, jawaricum, janapachapi, ñaupa, amachiraiku, ari amachpachapi, kerekanku, mama ch'askawan, ch'aska k'uyurwan, imayuwan, killawan, intiwan, mana karanchu reloj, mana karanku, ima iraqpik, chayta animal chiraqpaq, chirkana, wallpachu chayta. This very old blessing is saying every time we got reunited, we wake up the spirit of the Apus. The Apus is the God living in the mountain. Every mountain is an Apu. Even is flat or is high or the highest in the world. An Apu is a mountain and is sacred. Is the representation of God. Ñoka auspicita. I am asking the blessing of the moon to be spread in all over our heads here. My mother, the moon, with my siblings, the star, and with my father, the Inti. The Inti is the sun. We together, we don't have a time for ending. We don't have thirsty. We are not thirsty. We are not hunger. We are purified by our pure thoughts. And how these pure thoughts can make happy our mama Killa, moon, mother moon, and our Taita Inti, our father the sun, and our siblings the stars. And is asking for a permission to talk with the animals, with all the plants, and all with inanimated beings in the planet to stay alive and to bless us, because our pathway is complicated. Our pathway needs the light of the full moon. Today is the saying of this very old blessing. Just the oldest shamans can sing this song, can sing this blessing. And I wanted to share with you because I realize a lot of my traditions are dying very fast, and that's so painful. And so regarding the question for today meeting, so I will just like to remind ourselves that we do belong to a universe, and this universe is infinite. It's composed by a number of planets, and other planets we don't know well, really. But we know the universe is there, and we are just a little cucaracha in the middle of the universe. We are nothing. We are nobody. We are almost nothing, almost any dust in the universe. And so if we pay attention to the stars in the sky, to the moon cycle, to the Inti cycle, to the sun cycle, we will be more humans, and we will be more aligned with the desires of the universe, and we will be reordering our own lives according with the universe order. And the universe won't suffer because our ignorance of what is happening with the stars, with the planets, with the being in the universe. And we are not going to suffer with the universe because we will be aligned. So the way how we can be aligned is like Zebra show, is knowing and recognizing what is the day of today, what are the stars of today, and what is the order in the universe for today. And so we can align. We can put a seed in the ground in the full moon, for example, or we can try to find our own way to align with the planet's energy, with the sun energy, with the stars energy, and how much this influence the women's biology is amazing. And sometimes we do not discover this headache is coming because you are ignoring the aligning of the stars over your head. We women used to be the most successful astronomists. The humans that know the universe are the women because we were dedicated to the study of the stars in the sky. So we know what is happening there in the sky to reproduce that complete harmony here in the earth. Sometimes we got distracted for other things, routinary life, idiot things, and we forgot that we do belong to a huge universe. And we can find some blueprints about what the stars are telling us, like in the calendar of Sivra, like those you can find even in the primary school books. Why is important to respect the eclipse, to respect the sunrise, to pay honor to the sunset, to pay honor to the full moon, to realize there is an order over your head that is governing your life and you are ignoring, making the universe suffer and making yourself suffering. I am super proud and super happy being part of this circle where we can remind what is this order and why, what is our role in this infinite universe. And you and your worries will become infinite also. You being nothing, even not a dust in the universe, you will become infinite because you can flow in the same reed, in the same harmony that is running the universe. Just close your eyes for a moment and imagine the music of the quasars, the stars there in the infinite space of the universe, and imagine that music and bring that music into your womb, because your womb is a reflection of that space. I will invite you to open your eyes and get connected with that reality. That is real, it's not imagination. And for us people, indigenous, this is every second, every beat of our heart is telling us, you do belong to a star. You are a little dust in this universe, but you need to be aligned. Don't make the universe suffer by ignoring these facts. We do belong to an entire system of universes moving. And we, the women, are the keepers of that order. I couldn't be more proud of be part of this womb of peace circles, because it's reminding our relatives and our friends that we are just a little insignificant part of this huge universe. And when this blessing I read to you is talking about Mama Chaskawan, is saying Chaskawan means the stars that we see, but they are not alive now. They have died 20 years ago. You are saying a body of stars, but it's meaning that. And we says, Imayuan, Kiyawan, Intiwan, what I could be, nothing. If Mama Moon is not saying me, I will never forget that Mama Moon is saying me. That Mama Cocha, Mama Water, Mama Lake, Mama Sea is protecting me. Ang Mama Quilla, Mama Cocha, Mama Chaskawan, the stars, the moon, the sun, the Mother Earth was always protecting you, even if you didn't realize, if you don't pay attention, if you didn't honor this is happening, has been protecting you and will in the future keep protecting you. So pay some honor. This will make of you a human more close to your own divinity. And this is the purpose. Recognize the divinity in ourselves, so to elevate our spirits, to do not fall down in felony, to do not fall down in lies, to do not fall down in assassination. We do not fall down in genocide. Forgiveness is one of the power the moon can give to us. Wisdom is another. Illumination is also another. This is the whispering I learned from my ancestors, and I will close my intervention with this whisper. Thank you so much.
Chupanan Chiskama. Thank you, Celine, so much. It was so rich. As you were speaking about the universe and how women were the ones kind of keeping that wisdom, I could hear the connection between the universe and uterus, our wombs, our uterus, and the universe. And as you were talking about the stars as our siblings, I could see also how we each are different stars, and even though we have gaps and some darkness between us, we also see each other's light, and we can, I mean, if I were to take another candle and put it in the light doesn't, giving your light to someone else does not diminish your light, but rather the lights grow together without any of them feeling they're missing something. And I feel that these circles are really helping me kind of feel your light, and I can put my candle that is not yet lit, and you are giving me so much light, and then I have my own. And I think women do that also with our our uterus, our wombs. where we bleed, and when we feel protected and connected, we start cycling together, even though, we never coordinate or open up our calendars to see when you're available, when I'm available. It just happens. And we have that ability. And as former speakers were talking about, um, and also you about reducing the suffering, and so much of the suffering is in our mind and not in, we connected pain and suffering as if they're one, but they're not. When I gave birth, I was in immense pain, but suddenly I realized I'm not suffering. And I was like, is it really possible to let go of suffering and still feel pain? And I'm now at the stage of heat flashes. Someone, I think, put in the chat box that I'm no longer transferring from the blood cycles, and now I'm getting heat flashes. And I was just in this restaurant with my girl, and we went outside, and it's Alaska, it's very cold. And the owner of the place came to see if maybe we want to sit somewhere else. And I said, no, I'm at the heat flashes stage of my life. And she's like, oh, I know, it's so terrible. Me too. And I said, well, I love it. And she said, what? And I said, yeah, I get to work with elders, and I get to do sometimes sweat lodges with them. And this just reminds me of this inipi of sweat lodge. And I feel, wow, I'm getting my own private sweat lodge, and I don't need fire, and I don't need the tent, and I don't need the water, and I just get it. And I feel I'm shedding things with every one of them. I'm like, all right, I'm burning old skin, I'm burning old patterns. And it was just like, let go of old patterns, let go of old fears, welcome powers of nature, welcome new years, you know. And then she told me as I was going to pay, she said, thank you for being such a powerful woman, and for reminding me that yeah, we can stand in the snow, and the snow just melts because we're women. And it's a powerful thing. And she's like, I'm never gonna think about my heat flashes again in the same way. And it was just sometimes, and as you were saying about your culture dying, we don't know when we're gonna die. And so what you have to give, or what you've got to, what's in you to give, please give to us, give to all of us. And you don't know how many candles you might light just by allowing your own light to shine. So thank you for all of those reminders. And Diana, may I ask you to share from what's coming through you?
Thank you. It would be an honor. And I just want to say, the heat flashes, when I went through them, the hot flashes turned into power surges. So I want to offer those words, power surges. There is power that surges through us, and it comes from the universe, and it comes from the moon, it comes from the earth. So I want to thank everyone that spoke before me, and to build on that. So Celine reminded us that we're a cucaracha in the grand scheme of things. And she also Celine talked about the relationship, the brotherhood and sisterhood with the stars and the moon and the sun. And Ia talked about her son. And Como Sabras talked about the children who are our family as well. So each of us is a cucaracha, is a speck of dust, but the relationship is what makes the universe. I'm thinking of the word universe. There is a unified verse. There is one song. Not one star sings the song of the universe. The song of the universe is the unified verse of all stars. And I'm seeing the millions and trillions, actually trillions of stars that are in the sky, that are corresponding, echoed in the trillions of cells in our body. And we each are a universe. Every one, what's a single cell? If you take one single cell out of our body, it's a speck of dust. It's a cucaracha. It doesn't have any power on its own to impact the world. But the connection between all of our cells, like the connections between all of the bodies, celestial bodies, and the relationship, the ability to relate between us and the universe is what makes the song alive. The song is not one song. We are so used to, I want to sing my song. I want to say what I know. I want to be my best. But in my best and in my song and in myself, I am nothing. In the connection, in the relationship, in the fabric, in the net, in the familial relationship, sibling relationship that ourselves have to one another, that we have to one another in humanity, that humanity has to the stars and the universe. That's where the song evolves and continues and being born day by day. We are all cells, all of our cells are connected in our one universe. And as humanity, we are a universe of cells where each individual is a cell in the universe of humanity. And all of that universe of humanity is on one planet. That's one cell in the universe. So just thinking about that, zooming out from one cell all the way to the universe, then not only are we a speck of dust, but we are we are a note in a choir, in a symphony of the universe. And that's what gives us life. May we remember that.
Toda rabba, Diana. Thank you so much. As you were speaking to all of this and the ripples that we're not even aware of the existence of everything we do, say, or not do, or not say, as we ripple out, and we are called to be mindful of the connectedness. And as someone here, Alison wrote in the chat that she feels different constellations supporting or affecting in different times. I have a friend who once was with her spouse, and he said, "Oh, look, there's a full moon," and she said, "I don't need to look. I know it from my womb." And I don't have that ability, but I just envied her so much, and I think he did too, for being able to feel the connectedness without even having to check it or to make sure it's the way you feel that. And we are called to, I feel, to lean into our intuition, dare I say, which is so unrecognized by the Western cultures and the way we are taught to be in most, unless you have a teacher like Kumu Sabra. And so we remind each other of that ability. And when we started these circles, initially, Diana and I wanted to do them on the full moon, and just the calendars and people's ability weren't available. And then we met Celine, and she said, "Good, because in my culture, women are the midwives, are the doulas of the full moon." So as we are talking about light and darkness and everything that our wisdom keepers are offering, I am offering for all of us, myself and whoever feels the same, to start doing that towards the full moon in a few days. So in these few days, this is why we do these circles always before the full moon, so we can take these learnings, these practices, these circles often stay with me like a heartbeat, with my heartbeat throughout the month or the week, and gain more ripples and more understanding and more meaning. And so I am inviting those who feel that speaks to them to take it on consciously towards the full moon. And Diana, as you were talking about the universe as a song, I noticed how each note by itself. It's just a sound, or sometimes disharmonious sound. But if we feel the connectedness, or if we, tap into that possible connectedness, then we get music. And I remember the first time I met Diana was in Israel when she came to do red tents for Israelis and Palestinian Jewish and Arab women. And she was singing a song, a chant. And one of the participants said, wait, you're singing too low for me. Can we get it a tone higher? And one of the greatest teachings Diana ever gave me was her answer to that woman. Diana, do you remember what you said? No? You said, well, this is where I'm comfortable singing. Please sing in the key that is comfortable for you. And instead of being like either or, you just expanded us all, and everyone was just singing in the key that they felt comfortable with, and it created such a rich harmony. And I was like, wow. And anyway, that's where I fell in love with you, I guess. And we have a bit more time, so Michelle, if Joanna, if there's something in the chat that came through, if you would like to bring it forth, or maybe something that comes through you for our wisdom keepers to speak to. Okay, so I will open it for, I see there's quite a lot in the chat, so if one of the wisdom keepers would like to speak to anything that was shared, please unmute and talk to us. Auntie Sabra, Kumu Sabra, are you trying to unmute?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute, but I'm also looking for the questions.
Same with
Dan just asked what qualities of, oh my, there's so many questions. What qualifies a woman to be an elder? To me, it's simply your age. Okay, you know what? Can somebody read those questions to me? I can't see this and read the question.
right.
Can our techie read the questions to us?
Yeah, I can read one of the questions.
Okay.
Coco asks, as we near spring and the end of the season of the element of wood in the Chinese year of the wood dragon, is there anything that resonates with this time?
Auntie Saber, you gonna speak to that?
No, please speak to it. I'm thinking on it. I don't have a tight answer at this time. Because I don't know anything about the Chinese beliefs in the year of the dragon. I don't have any background on that.
It's similar to that what I learned so far in my studies and guides is that all of us come from different indigenous lens. And in those lens are these symbolic images, whether the dragon, you will find in Egypt, the alligator, these images, what are they? How do we reverence them through time and space? And the dragon is symbolic of the jaguar spirit. It's that time, it also offers us that time of releasing some old shedding, old skin, old body belief systems, and also dreaming a new body into being. It's like you shedding, you go back to the old, you It's like you gathered, you spent the time coming through the winter solstice where you went into the darkness. Now you coming back out and you bringing something, a new seed to be planted and offered to the earth, or offered to humanity, because you've gone inward and now you're coming back out with your dream, your new vision to offer, and you're bringing it forth to offer it to your community, to the village. These are very important times, and we have lost the connection through these different parts of this last dispensation that we come through. We lost it and lost those pieces and ways to interpret. And the elders, if I can jump over it, the elders were like the shamans of the time, is what I understand. And they was able to go into the dark space and discern what needed to be disposed, or that stuff that needed to be let go of, and bring back new thoughts, a new idea, and help the people to discern, not to judge, but discern what they had learned from, say, their suffering, their pain. You've gone through this. And what we tend to do is judge it, and it becomes our victim wound that we build on, as opposed to looking at what did it teach us? What does it offer us in terms of going forward? Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like where we are today. If we could look at where we've gone through this historical period, because this has been, according to our elders, our ancient one, this has been a total 26,000 year cycle, broken in different elemental pieces. And so we can go back and look at all of the broken pieces. And now how do we weave that back into place today as those shamans, as those elders who are stepping onto the forefront? Is more than being old. As old, all of us grow to be old, but all of us don't grow to be elders. That's according to my ancestry. So with that, hopefully that made sense to all of us. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, yeah, because I've, you know, yes, I am an elder now. Yes, you are an elder now, but still, it just seems like yesterday I was young.
You're still young.
Yeah. All right, Michelle, there was another question that came up. Would you please read the other question that was popped up in the screen?
Yes. Have you talked about matriarchal societies versus our now patriarchal societies?
So the question is, I don't think we have talked about matriarchal societies versus patriarchal societies. Oh my goodness, Yale, that is a subject for a whole nother Zoom session.
Yes,
I would
yes.
like to have a short answer to that.
Yes, thank you, dear.
Unless como Sabra, unless you want to say something first.
No, go. Because my whole thing about matriarchal is peace.
Yeah.
Go.
So what I want to say is that I would like to introduce us to the more accurate term of matrilineal, because matriarchal suggests hierarchy. Patriarchal is a hierarchy of the father being ruling over, having power over the mother. And when people ask about matriarchy, they're assuming that it was the same in reverse. The woman had power over men, so it was as advantage taking, as suppressive and oppressive as patriarchy is, but in reverse. No, it's not how it was. It was matrilineal, the line of wisdom, the line of property, the line of teachings, the line of homestead, the line of wisdom went through mothers to daughter to mother to daughter. It wasn't a hierarchy where women took their power and used it against men. So yes, it's a vast topic and we can talk about it for a whole meeting, but I just want to shift the awareness from hierarchical order to matrilineal, to the line where the descending of the wisdom and the line of wisdom passing from mother to daughter. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I want to touch a little bit more about the question about elder and versus or I don't know, alongside elderly. So when I came here, I'm married to Kuyach, who's Ilarian Merkuliev, who's a traditional messenger of these people from Alaska, the Unangan people in the Bering Sea area. And he told me elder never called himself or herself an elder. He uses very few words, and so that's all he said. But that stayed with me as like, what do you like? What do you mean? Like, why? And also, he said he meant a 5-year-old elder. And so for him, it's definitely not just age. I mean, most elders are elderly, but not necessarily. And also, like Ia said, not all elderly people are elders. And I think if you just let this stay with you, you will see how some of the older people that you know are not necessarily wise. And some of the youngest people that we know, sometimes the children will ask you a question or say something and you're like, whoa, what was that? Like a bomb of wisdom just landed there from their mouth. And so as I was kind of meeting more elders and exploring this notion, I realized in these cultures that I'm introduced to here in Alaska, the indigenous cultures, an elder is not something, it's not like, oh, I have a diploma, now I'm an elder, or oh, I have this whatever age or this title or this, now I'm an elder, or I went through this course or this specific ceremony and this is it. It's something that you are given. You never take it. The community gives it. And some people, sometimes I feel it's like my favorite author. It's like someone can be my elder and not necessarily yours. Maybe I see a wisdom that I recognize speaks to me, and maybe you don't see it. And maybe the other way. Maybe I am not aware of a certain wisdom that you're like, this person is maybe it's a sense of humor where I'm like, this person is totally, like an idiot. And you're like, no, that's him joking and making things happening to make you think in a different way. Like the Lakota cultures have the Heyoka. And so, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing so many things I didn't realize before. And I'm like, I can't wait to grow older and find out even more, how stupid I was and how much fun it is to not know everything and to have so much more to learn and to look forward to. And so
Uh-oh. Did Yale freeze up?
We stopped hearing you, Yael.
this is kind of me now better, maybe?
Yes, now we can
No.
hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So the last thing is that elders have the wisdom that is beyond their time, their years, and the sparkle of the child in their eye. And so they hold this new generation with the ancient generation.
I can tell that my sisters still have that sparkle in their eye. Look at that. Dancing already. Oh.
Yeah, mute. We can't hear you.
No, I was just over here getting, my people used to like get that. They say, oh, that's a hallelujah sound, honey. Ooh. So as you hit it, like when you was talking, it was just like understanding that, because sometimes when they're going through that really difficult time, and to be in this body right now, I wake up in this awake space now, because it's like all of the things that I thought was bad, coming through my life. I grew up as a sharecropper. Just think about Black people growing up as sharecroppers, where you like pressed down so low. And then to hear the little stories told to me from my great grandmother that turned into these beautiful seeds that led me through life, and to reach back into that and to feel this heart opening recognition of acknowledging, if I didn't have that experience, as they say, that's as a word in African cosmology, indigenous teaching, turn back to the Sankofa, look back and pick away the feathers that the Sankofa bird is plucking the tail, picking off the old stuff that he collected on his journey. And he goes back to the source of creation, and he comes back with something beautiful because he remember where it come from. It did not come from his experience. It come from creation itself. And he just goes back and he's like, whoa, what do I do with this? Wow. You know, like when you can embody the whole of your journey and feel the sweetness of that journey. It's a sweetness there. But if we stay in the victim role of it and we keep blaming the outside world for what happened, as opposed to turning it back, say, oh, the old folks said, my soul looks back and wonder how I came through. Now, what lessons do I have? My soul went down. Not my body, not my body. My soul went on a journey to learn a new expansion. How sweet is that? How sweet is that? Amazing.
It is sweet.
How sweet is that?
Wonderful.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Where are we?
We are near the end, but yeah, when you were talking now, I was just sensing the soil of the soul and how good it is that we don't just have the surface, but that when something rots or, it falls on the ground and it doesn't just stay there, it's not concrete, but that, the earth has this ability to swallow it or to take it in, as you said, and then enrich herself and allow other things to grow. And so that was so beautiful thank you for taking us through that little journey inwards. And I think we are having questions that can do for an entire session. Also, the question about elderhood, I feel that we can go way into it. So we will harvest all of these questions. But I think now we can maybe do the few minutes of silence, unless one of our wisdom keepers maybe final words, and then we'll get the words from our community silently in the chat box, and then we will close for this time. So any of our wisdom keepers, please share final words that are coming through you.
I am simply thinking of we have changes in our climate here. It is much cooler than normally. 62 degrees is cold for Hawaii. And that is our temperature last night. It's warm to 64, 65 now. The wind has picked up. It's coming from the west, which normally it comes from the northeast. But we are experiencing changes in the weather. And I would imagine that you all are as well. It's probably worldwide and not just concentrated here in Hawaii. I have concerns about the long-term effect of these weather changes on all of us. We have had a considerable amount of rain return to our island. Last year and the year before, for 2 years, we actually were in a bit of a drought. very, very low rainfall compared to normally. The rain has returned with a bit of a vengeance. Now there's flooding in some areas, but I'm interested in these weather changes and how they affect all of you as well.
Mhm.
That again could be, yeah, a topic for a future circle. Celine, we lost you for a while, and now we have you back. So we have a few more minutes. I'm wondering if you can share anything else that is coming through you, and then we will hear or read from our community and then close. But Celine, please share for a few minutes if you have something that's coming through.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So my final words will be, bring this energy to the rest of your families, your beloved one. Bring the magic of this moment into your wound and make it work through your spine and go to your brain. And remember that we women, we keep the knowledge how to cure our own bodies, our own minds, our own souls, our own emotions, our own spirits, and our own environment. And it's important to keep this environmental thing always in our minds, because the environment is our mother, is what we do have, is where we come from. And I will add something as a final reflection, is that we should reproduce this in our own communities. If you can do it in the circle of your co-workers, into your family, with your daughters, with your relative, with your friends, is quite important. The energy we are accumulating is transforming somehow this world, and that is super important. And so being an elder in my culture is anyone who has something to teach. We call yachachik. Yachachik is someone who have something to share, to teach. And remember, when we will die, who will keep these meetings? Who will keep this knowledge? So we need to train now young generations. Young people needs to lead this new, and we saw around the world this new movement of diversity, inclusion, equitative fighting. And I would like to say this is the one signal that new times are coming, and we need to be prepared. And thank you for this meeting. Thank you for the elders for keep the wisdom. Thank you to all of the persons present in this moment to keep this warm emotion in the heart and make this warm emotion cure your heart, then your body, then your mind, then your spirit, then your soul, then the environment. And thank you for organizing. Thank you for keeping alive the light of the circle of womb. Thank you.
And to you, Celine.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Oh,
Thank you. Tupanan Kama. Mahalo. Toda raba.
Mahalo.
And it's a good reminder to also say big thank you to our team, to Michelle, to Joanna, that are holding us so gracefully. And also my daughter Alma is helping, but she's very shy, so I won't spotlight her. And now we will just listen for 2 minutes, and our community, we are inviting you to put your offerings in the chat. Toda rabah. Thank you, everyone. And Iya, will you please give us the closing blessing for this space?
Okay, there we
hear you.
are. Okay, so we all in the circle, and in the circle we gather all of the voices, all of the input into the circle, and everybody around the circle envision that you have contributed everything and you put it in the middle of this womb space to be envisioned, and we all are envisioning what's coming through. So I want us to echo in this time space. You know, I use this saying, we are the light. So what I want you to do, I'm going to say, you are the light. I want you to echo that back out in you are the light, because we all are that light. You are light. Now echo back. You are light. You are light. You are light. Now echo back. You are light.
You are light.
Light. You are light. Come.
You are light.
So all of the people around us, you are light.
You are
Light. And as you're doing that, you are light. You can do this in the morning or whenever you're thinking about the darkness in the world, just hold your hands up and know that you are emanating the light. And you can say, you are emanating light. And it's like, I am emanating light to you, but you are emanating the light back to that being. It's light going out and light coming in. So we emanating that light out into the world, and we bringing that light back into ourselves, emanated towards ourselves, and back out into the world. You can feel that, yes?
Yes.
And maybe it's not a word
Yes.
that we can do, but let's practice knowing that we are the light that can emanate into the world. As long as we moving through that dark space right now, we are giving birth to the light. We each are gathering here in this circle to bring light into the world as it was meant to be. We are the co-creators with creation herself. And Mother Earth is calling to us to raise up that creation, to raise that creation in ourselves, become that light that we want to see in the world. We are the ones. We have shown up here. We are the ones bringing the light. We are the ones bringing the change. We are the ones who will hold this earth while she goes to rebirth it herself. We are the light. You are light. So thank you, beings, sisters, brothers, loving creation. Thank you so much.
And to you.
Thank you, Ia.
Thank you, everyone. Every encounter is a co-creation. And even if you didn't say a word, even if you didn't write a word, you were heard and you helped all of this to come through. These wisdom keepers don't always share what they have shared here. And if the quality of listening would have not been the way it was, this would not have been shared. So thank you for enabling that, for allowing that. Keep on being the light that you are, and keep on letting the light come through you. As Ia says, we have shown up. I also thought we have shown. Suddenly I could see the show and also show of showing and also the shining of showing. So we have shown and we have shown up. And thank you so much for showing up and shining up this day, this light, this night. Thank you. And we'll see you next time. We'll put in the chat box the links to connect with us. And if you feel nourished and have the ability and the will to nourish back, then there is a donation link. And thank you all. We will stop the recording and you can unmute and say farewell.
Thank you, Yael. תודה רבה.
I guess I'll see you on Thursday, yes?
Yes.